Welcome back. You're watching Melt. Before the break, we spoke to Jacques Seguela. He gave us a global perspective on engagement, storytelling, and much more. And right now, we'll be speaking to Bobby Pawar. Anant, you had a chat with Bobby Pawar. So why don't you tell me what this new appointment will mean for Havas as a group, and how will it change the game?
You know, there's something that Jacques said in some other interview which I read, which is, the patterns in global advertising. So he says in Europe, the advertising first talks to the brain, then to the heart.
Right.
In the US, it talks to the brain and then to the wallet. And in India, he didn't mention India, he said in Latin America, Italy, and France, it talks to the heart and then goes to the brain. I think that's why they zoomed in on Bobby, because Bobby's done a lot of work which sort of demonstrates work which catches the consumer at the heart and then takes it to the brain. Look at his work for, say, Make My Trip, or the Kali work for Ambuja Cements and so on. It makes you laugh, it catches your emotions and then takes you to the brain. So I think that's what Bobby's task is, to make Havas a creative powerhouse. It's not easy, but that's his job and that's what he's got to do.
So let's hear what he has to say. So let's get ready to melt with Bobby Pawar.
Morning, Bobby.
Top of the morning to you, Anant.
So tell me, what is your remit? Let's have a clear understanding of what you're doing.
It's kind of trying to do what I did in Mudra and Publicis, is to turn the place around, build culture, right? The other thing is to work across the group, across advertising, media, digital, experiential, and the companies that we acquire, to build a culture that encourages collaboration and exploits the strengths of each sort of vertical to power the others, right? To get strategy across the group. It shouldn't be limited to just media strategy, but brand strategy across the group. Also, the bigger thing is, to me, to work popular culture by collaborating with the Vivendi companies, Universal Music, Gameloft, Dailymotion, right? And that's where these companies play in, especially Universal Music plays into popular music, and we can create content that is both video and music with them, right? And that benefits brands greatly. Yeah.
So Bobby, in your portfolio, you also have Dailymotion,
right?
Which is a quiet, very respected, video streaming site. So what is your role in Dailymotion? What are you going to do with it?
So it's the second largest video streaming site in the world, right, after YouTube. Obviously, it doesn't have quite the numbers of YouTube, but has, I think, far, more high-end content than probably any other streaming site in the world. The opportunity here is to co-create branded content with them, because they've got a bunch of high-end sort of content creators that air their stuff on their platform, right? And that, to me, is the big opportunity. The other big thing, and I know you didn't ask this, is Gameloft. They're the largest mobile game creator in the world, right? And mobile is where the action is, and gaming is just growing faster and faster in India. So there are two parts to it, right? We can gamify almost branded content or branded platforms on things like interactive digital, right? The other thing is also inserting the brand ideas into content that is created bespoke for brands, right? Gaming content that's created bespoke for brands, or sort of amalgamating the brand idea into games that already exist.
Right. So that's a lot more than just advertising, more than the job you did at...
Totally, and that is what excites me, right? The whole idea of the Havas village as the Vivendi village, where there's an ecosystem where everybody sort of is interdependent on each other for ideas and inspiration, is hugely exciting.
So are all of them going to be co-located, sitting in one place, or will you have to jump around?
No, right now, health, digital and advertising are co-located, right? The teams are mixed up, and that sort of encourages cross-pollination, right? Obviously, as with any culture, right, you've got to start pushing the agenda and have people buy into the vision of one place that believes in one thing, which is great output on the behalf of brands, right? And this whole philosophy of meaningful brands is a great philosophy to believe in, especially at a time when about 74% of the brands disappear, people won't care about it. So the meaning that brands have to people is getting more and more important than ever, right? And when you create meaningful experiences for people across all verticals, that's when I think the stuff resonates.
Right. Now, we spoke to Jacques before we speaking to you, and the height of expectations that he has on what you're going to deliver is close to the moon. So tell me how you going to deal with these expectations, because in fact in the interview he says you're the next Jacques Segela. That's what he says.
Oh damn, those are some pretty big shoes to fill, right? And it's taken him 85 years. I don't know if I'm going to last that long, right? So I mean, you know what, in fact, if I become the JAC of Jacques Segela, I'd be really blessed, right? I think the way to go about it is to take each day on like it's the first, and because the progress you've made is history, and you move on from there. And this whole vision of trying to sort of do great stuff for brands, making them meaningful across everything that they do is, I think, the biggest challenge I've taken on, right? And that is what drives me every single day.
Right. You know, Anita Nair at Havas has built a fantastic foundation as far as the media business is concerned. Then you've got, say, companies like Reckitt who give you a lot of business on the creative side. So from that foundation, where do you think this is going to go?
I think, like Chris Hurst says, right, to truly transform a place, you need to win more in the marketplace. Also, you transform the place by transforming the work and the business of the brands that have been trusted to you. And that's the effort right now.
So are you going to see a lot more interactivity between Havas Creative and Havas Media? Are we going to see that?
Oh, absolutely. That's begun, right? Because the data that lies with media is a powerful, powerful weapon, right? And you use that to power brand strategy across everything, right? Because then the strategists can mine the data, turn that into small data and get insights out of that. That's a powerful thing. And we're beginning to do that. Obviously, it's a very long journey, right? But I'm confident we'll get there.
Right. And finally, before we close, what will we see the involvement of the Bollore's or of Jacques Segela in the India business? Because actually it hasn't been very much all these years.
So Yannick was just here, right? And obviously he's committed to making investments, both personal as well as financial, in the country, right? Because he sees the potential here, right? Personally. And I mean, bringing Rana and me is one step in that direction, and you'll see many more things like that over the coming months.
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Bobby. All the best.
Thanks a lot, man.
I hope to have a chat with you 1 year from now, reviewing all that you guys have achieved.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I need all the good wishes I can get.
That's a wrap on this episode of Melt. You can also read the transcript of the entire interview on our website www.readytomelt.com, and don't forget to catch all our content on our social media platforms. Our handle is Ready to Melt. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.